Good morning. Welcome to the Columbia Open Space Committee regular meeting on Thursday, June 20th, 2024 at 9 a.m. Present, we have speaking it.
Rob Hellstrom.
And
Mark Walter, Town Administrator. Tom McGrath. Ron Wickholm.
Justin Riendo.
And remotely we have.
Paul Zader.
Paul,
Good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Who's talking?
that's so that our remote minute taker knows who's you.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from May 16th.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got Paul Ramsey moved and
Rob.
you said that. Okay, again. Rob and Ron seconded.
Okay.
Chris, okay. Good. Any discussion, correct?
Yeah, my only question is, who is Tom McGaffey?
I guess there's a typo, huh? Okay.
Yes, Tom McGaffey reminded the committee.
No Ron.
All right. So noted.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Okay, do we have anybody honor or tally? Okay. So we will skip the updates from our clerk. Does anybody else know anything about the status of Canva for the acquisition? Okay.
You're in the dark.
Okay. Old business. Planning and zoning.
Yeah, nothing terribly new, so the multifamily and the accessory dwelling unit, along with some minor changes to the definition of a structure, are moving forward to public hearing on Monday. So there'll be a planning and zoning meeting this coming Monday at 7.
Okay.
So the public will have the opportunity to hear the proposals for the changes on those 3 items, weigh in, and then we could vote on it that night to approve or deny, or delay it to get more information, but we're at that point where decision can be made.
And that'll be in this room.
Yeah, as far as I know right now, it'll be in this room. There's been some, yeah, sometimes if there's something controversial, some people will do it in Yeoman's, but there hasn't, I mean, there's been a little bit of buzz about it, but nothing crazy.
The challenge with Yeoman's is moving all this equipment.
I know. It's a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd much rather have it.
I'll make sure you have this cord that goes to the TV. We have a second cord because this one's actually in the wall.
Okay,
So I have a second cord, so you just unplug and leave that one and plug the other cord into the TV and into the computer.
all right, cool, that'd be great.
And you just wheel the monitor, all that stuff.
Perfect.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, no, it's good to have it over there. But yeah, so I mean, that's essentially where we're at. If there's any questions between now and then or today, feel free to ask them.
If all of a sudden you feel there's a lot of people planning to come, I could at least have tables and chairs set up on Monday.
Yeah, I'll talk to Rick and see what
The
he.
problem with that is too, there's probably an exercise class.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, they could come in here.
Yeah, like, yeah, we'll talk about it, see what we can do.
Right now, all I've heard interest is from the code.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, they've been very, at every meeting, so. We have a subcommittee meeting today to just do some last minute discussions with, Mike Lester. The structure piece, because part of what we did on the structure definition was change some of the, change some of the rules around propane tanks, because again, like. Everything needed setbacks, and we categorized propane tanks as structures. It was just really confusing, so it's, I mean, in my opinion, it's not controversial, it makes it easier, but, we're gonna double check again, just to make sure there's no issues for the fire marshal. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Nothing new has been proposed yet. So assuming if everything was great and this goes through and the regulations are updated, we'll revisit what we want to hit next. Because there's a lot of areas that we need to improve, but we haven't decided yet. Trying to get to this first.
First,
Yep.
okay, I'll plan to be there. Soon. Does anybody have any questions?
Just on the multi. Housing units, is there any kind of design review or any? You know, when a developer's proposing, is there any kind of oversight?
Yeah, so anything that's done in the residential agricultural zone will be under a special permit. So it's inherent into that, so they have to come in front of the commission and in front of the public, it's a public hearing. And, you know, we can put conditions on them, like if there would be a review of what they're attempting to do. So are you looking at like a question about aesthetics?
Yes, yeah, more aesthetics, because somebody could come in and. You know, be nickel and diming the project to death and just, it could just look awful.
Yeah.
Central.
Yeah, the short answer to your question, yes, we would be able to put conditions on that if the commission members wanted to, of course, there's varying opinions on that, but yes, the answer is yes.
Good.
Would these regulations apply to lakes zone?
No, so we don't have a lake zone, but we have a lake overlay, so it's not a separate zone. So in part of this proposal, what we did, and this I think will extend beyond the multifamily piece as well. Because there's no true delineation with a zone for the lake, what we wanted to do is at least form some sort of delineation. So what we've done is we've taken the overlay, which is basically the lake zone. And we've exempted that from multifamily. So multifamily, as it's proposed now, will not be allowed in the lake to preserve the lake. So there's no question about that, because that's generally a concern that people have. So right now, be in the residential agricultural zone by special permit, in the commercial zone, I think by site plan. Review again. But the lake zone or overlay is exempt from that. They would be able to present that.
Because I feel the one under construction is ready. Well.
I'm not familiar. But if anything that would fall under these regulations would not be.
Thank you.
Yep.
And it might be good song to tune into. Will it be on Zoom too?
Yeah, it'll be on Zoom, and unfortunately, I'll be out of state, so I'll be zooming in to do my presentation to do my part that way.
All right,
Sometimes that's even better because you share screen.
That's the only advantage for me, is because I'll be doing a presentation, so I can share my screen, but yeah, I would much rather be here, but yeah.
I'm sure you agree with all this. This is what code throughout and then informational piece. I haven't run it by John to make sure it's all accurate. But I thought you should see what's out there.
Thank you. For those of you at home and on the beach, this is what, comments?
Code put up a cheat sheet of
Code,
what the proposed changes would mean to the town.
okay, code is commission on
There's more.
something of diversity
It is kind
and
of there.
equity. And they have made comments on what Justin just talked about, which will no doubt come up. And apparently there's H3.
So generally correct, there's a few little things. And then I have to double check all the, this says 750 square feet. Maximum for the accessory dwelling unit, I need to verify that it's up to
Mhm.
right around it.
This is all the opinions of code now. Also. 2,000 square feet, we consider it 16.
Do you have this up front?
No, it was just in.
Also, that 2,000 square foot, is that also, there's no, that's. There's that. Under the,
Oh, building patch, no, that's, I don't think that's correct, I think those numbers are off, I believe it's 1,600 square feet. And then. It might be, I have to double check 750 square foot max, I think it might feel like it's 800, but it could. 750.
Yes, this is good. You're getting a heads up just in
Yeah.
case. Any
Yeah.
of this was wrong, that's being distributed.
Thanks.
Well.
Okay. Item 2, tell us about the 166 property, or do you need it set?
No, because it's been approved with the board of selectmen.
Okay.
And, I was authorized to have a survey done, was done. And, next it's going to an 8-24 at the planning and zoning meeting on Monday. And this is the Mary Shop property on Route 66 that she wants to preserve and sell to the town. And it will allow us to connect to 2 other properties in the back of her. They go all the way to Rec Park. And this, Rob has found a better way to have access from 66. Not at the end of the shop property, but in the middle of the shop property. Right into rock wall. It would give us 700 feet of sight line one way and 500 feet the other way. So you could build a small parking lot, have access into that property for bird watching, picnics and the pond. And so it makes it a usable piece for the town.
the south side, or west. West side.
I'll get the map if you want to see it. So you can,
It's very
so it, 8-24, and then, I'll send it to Flat Pack, their next meeting in July. Just to show where we'll be and how we're going to pay for it out of your funds that are already there. And then, I'll do the board of selectmen set a time.
One of the nice picture, I go see that pond, it's actually about a half-acre pond.
Yeah.
Actually measured, so it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, the branch over there for something, I'm not sure how deep it is or how well it freezes in winter, but.
Nothing freezes.
We have a full winter, it could be ice skating place, we could get.
You could.
parking and- So the west side of the pond is fairly clear. Where the east side of the pond is usually double, but.
Yeah.
And it's all plus, those are long gone. Winters. I don't think it is about, well, careful what you say.
Mary Shop told me that her father dog that. It's so. In 5 for the, yeah.
Maybe too deep.
This,
Cell tower.
for the spirit hall,
new
this
access
is.
point, we would own, right, at the rock wall. So they would. We would give up with that. Uses.
Between
Oh.
the
Along
swamp,
with that, this is all, it's all right in already.
the water in for the lake. And the cell phone tower.
Good work.
So it's right in that area. So it connects the. They. It's not really open space, it's recreational land, which we use grant funds to purchase. Known as the Atlas property and rec park.
Did the board of selectmen, was it pretty unanimous? They have any questions or?
Just, we were talking about it years ago, they've been supported the whole time. There's been no, because it links into the rest of rec park and gives you a new access point for other future uses. Aren't we trading some of the brand property? No, we're gonna give up an access point that DOT denied us to use as an access point. So that acreage is only, now go back to the footer. Right. So it'll reduce the amount of acres by that access point amount, which I think was half acre.
It serves no purpose to us. We just have people, living in that, whoever buys a house would then they'd be using that property anyways, so why have the town liable for what goes on there?
In past acquisitions, has anyone ever, whether it's by back or board of selectmen, asked for like a prospectus or anything as far as like the pros and cons of a particular piece of property? How it affects anything tax wise or anything like that? Or is it just kind of like discussions?
Well, it's already in 490, so we're not getting much taxes off of it.
Yeah, but there's nothing there generally formal that's put together, the proposal written.
I would say in a major acquisition, if you were buying a 200-acre farm, that would be a much more detailed discussion.
Yes, but yes, that always comes up.
Right.
And we work with the assessor to figure out just how much that will cost.
I'll make sure I have those figures available for
It just seems like it would be prudent regardless of what side you came onto it, because there's always pros and cons of everything.
Yeah, we should probably write up a fact sheet.
Yeah.
Be
Yes,
determined.
Right.
Okay.
definitely.
And it's also, you bought the larger Ellis property, 50 acres, which is a pretty good sized piece of property. And because of that right of way not being, state would allow us to use the right of way we had, we were kind of in a bad situation where this piece is not gonna solve that, because now we'll have access to that piece, which is a large parcel. So that's a big plus.
And it's harder to access from rec because you have all those wetlands
Yeah.
in the wet,
So it's,
the rest of our property.
Wetlands are not the problem, it's the barbarian. Only Brown can penetrate those.
not into that much anymore. I was gonna kick out the guys who are younger surveyors who work with us, and so I said, well, I couldn't get there, there's too much brush. What do you mean there's too much brush? Anyway, you gotta go there. It doesn't work, no such thing.
So the Board of Selectmen approved it and we're purchasing this, so for how much?
42,000
42,000, okay.
approximately. I'd have to.
That's
look at
close
these.
Okay,
How many acres?
Yes, 22. Hold on,
Probably 20.
no, it's less than 20. Because
Because we paid,
it's 22.92 acres minus the access, which is 0.58. So it's 22.34
Purchase.
times 2,000 an acre. So it's 44,680. You hear that, Chris?
41,608. Okay,
And 80, 44,
Eight.
44,680.
41680. Okay. Thank you.
All right, and what does that mean? Anything in the open space account?
Nobody up to. I'll get you that information, on what's in the other account too, that where that feeds in through the clerk's office. For land sales.
All right, nothing on our Pine Street parking,
No,
okay?
that's still stalled or just haven't gotten. Okay, well, you're here. We did the combine round, we did some work, and there's something that I data and get ready to draw up, there's something that isn't right, so I gotta go out and measure a couple of little things, just to check.
Okay. Salmon River Partnership. Any news?
Well, we had our Zoom meeting. Bi-monthly. Last night. And very spotty attendance. Because it's vacation time. There are only 3 towns represented. She's off and running with her monitoring projects, temperature, salinity.
Yep.
They have loggers that go into several of these streams.
Pat,
Pat Young,
okay.
Patricia Young.
Did you mention a possible field trip on our little section?
Absolutely not, because we can't park anywhere on the site.
That's,
But, I mean, that keeps coming up. They ask me,
yeah,
any progress? She'll mention. And I said, well, yes, there's progress, but nothing is set yet. I reported on friends of mine activities. Careers in hearing that. And I don't think there was anything else. Oh, as far as a field trip, they are, you know, we've been doing this touring of the watershed. We've had 2 nice hikes, exposure to the properties. I really enjoyed that. Well, now the next one's gonna be on the water at the cove where the Salmon River comes into the Connecticut. We'll do kayaks and a pontoon boat. Toward that. That'll be up in July.
and where's that?
They call it the boat launch. I don't know. Is it
The main boat launch. It's
Oh,
on
yes.
149.
Yeah.
Just north of the bridge.
That's
Just north of the bridge, of the swing bridge.
Yes.
on the Connecticut River where the salmon comes in.
Yes.
I got, I've been,
They call that a cove, and we're gonna explore it as far as we can get.
It's real shallow, it's real shallow, and
Yeah,
You can also,
kayak should have no problem.
that's about all you could get in there.
you might want to mention to the group that if you go in to the Macamuta State Forest, you can, if you go in from the right side, which is the old Sunrise Resort,
Yeah.
you can literally drive all the way to the Salmon River and put a kayaking down there. So,
So right at the state park.
right, so there's 2 entrances to the state park. One is Macamuta State Park, which the parking lot is surrounded by boulders.
Yeah.
So you can only go in the parking lot. The other access, which is down the road, which is the old access to the Sunrise Resort, that's available. There's a giant parking lot, but the road is not blocked off. You can drive all the way down to the Salmon River,
And that's above. Where we're
way above.
So
So then you would go to the cove,
Yeah.
where,
Yeah, this was all timed. Looking at the tide table and stuff, so that we would, if we put it down below, we have push up.
Oh, so you're gonna go up the river. Yeah, that's a better way. I got you. Yeah, that'll be a nice path, going up.
Late afternoon, little different, what I've done, so.
Yeah, cause it might be harder to get all the way to where I'm saying, yeah, means really.
That might be that state park,
Mackinac State Park,
keeps coming up in various discussions, so,
it's a beautiful park.
yeah, why don't we come?
The little farm is my son's farm at the, where the old tennis court used to be. He had to put up a fence because everybody thought his property was part of one right next to, we had tourists looking at his towels all the time. We were wandering around. Party farms.
Also popular. And Mark, you get kudos from that, you know, for being so responsive. And this group, of course, supported an increase in the donation.
Right.
And not every town has paid. But she thinks she'll get. To do something, 24,000. They get from towns, voluntarily.
It's good, it's a good partner to have. Okay, Tom McGrath, would you be kind enough to comment on Hot River Trail Alliance, the 12 town, and Hot River Preserve?
About Hot River Preserve first.
Okay,
There's been a lot of activity down there with volunteers, Joan leading everybody, clearing brush and down logs and things, and most of that has been moved up to the roads. Now DPW can pick it up and move it away. The Historical Society is doing a garden walk this weekend, and one of the optional stops is to go down and visit with Joan at the Hot River site.
And there's also a one-room schoolhouse that's on the tour. It's right there, just before you get to the preserve.
Yep.
It's on the
Yep.
left. It's a cute little house, and that was a one-room schoolhouse.
So the people are gonna allow,
Yes,
cause it has the two doors where boys and girls would enter.
Yeah.
But they're still there, I mean,
oh, it's out of the woods.
I saw, I was heard, it was two entrances.
I don't think you get to tour the house.
See the outside.
Sure, I've heard really, it sounded like you might be able to. I mean, it's not a historic house. It's a one-room school. It's not the original house. What's that house building? It's all brand new. The guys that built, worked on it. I worked with them. They basically, there's a couple pieces of lumber in there from the original place. Basically, they rebuilt it. With until after the tour. Billy worked on this work. I worked with the guys.
Don't outline.
It's a reproduction.
Such shape they had. Oh, that's interesting.
I think most
So they told me.
really old houses are like that. Like
It might have exaggerated, it might be more lumber in than in that, but it's pretty much reproduction. There are a couple of good carpenters, I'm sure they did a good job reproducing it.
Well, if there was any chestnut in there, they should have kept that, because that would still be good.
Roof tree building.
Do you have a date on that, please?
I do.
So.
Give that Saturday morning. This coming Saturday.
Oh, you mean,
No, I built the year, I did the year. And that, when did you talk about this garden to prove?
anytime.
I have to take the wood.
Or now it may be at the senior center Saturday morning.
Okay,
So, you can kind of roll the Hot River and the airline trail and Mono Pond stuff all together as one discussion. So Friends of Mono Pond, we hosted, two hikes. June 1st and June 2nd as a part of the Connecticut
trail step.
Trails Day, and that was pretty well attended. Todd Shepherd
played a big role in all these different events we were doing. And then June 8th was the airline trail, Ride the East, and both Honor and Kinham and Walker Home. There was yeah, so most of the people that we dealt with from TPL were involved, participants in the ride. And that went really well. It was around 100 bike riders. And that was, you know, through Willimantic and so forth as a hub. And while we were doing all this, Ann and I think, attended about 100 meetings, it seemed like.
Pretty much.
So at this point, I've been accepted as a representative for Columbia for the Airline Trail Alliance and for the Operator Trail Alliance. So I've been participating in their meetings. Nothing really new. The Airline Trail is kind of stalled for the moment. CTR, C&D is the ones that are going to be working on the master plan. And my wife and I went to their annual meeting a couple of weeks ago. Talked to a few people there, but they've got all kinds of projects this year. The airline master plan is just one of them. Anything else?
What about last night, Bruce Con?
Oh, so Bruce John did a concert here. So I've been tabling for Friends of Mono Pond and open space and all that stuff. As best I could, different places. So Bruce John was here with a concert last night, and I brought out the different maps and things. So few people that hadn't heard of us yet were able to hear us. A part of the getting set up for the airline trail event, we Friends of Model Pond tabled over in Hebron at the Route 85 site, and got to work with and meet the director for Hebron and Frank Zitkus, who's like head of all the trails and things. So he and I had a chance to talk about what we're thinking about and how they're trying to connect greenways from where the airline trail hits Route 85 up to Hebron Center that they've got. So it sounds like it's all, you know, fitting together pretty well. Ann and I went over to Lebanon's Conservation and Ag meeting and had a pretty good discussion with them, and maybe get a little bit more interest in Lebanon and participating with Friends of Mount.
Right, and Mark Lang, their conservation chair, participated in the ride. So we're drawing, largely thanks to Tom, we're drawing in other towns and generating more interest, so we have a broader base of support.
Part of that too is trying to get more involved in the ride. I went out and visited with Colchester Land Trust and talked to them about everything we were doing and how close Colchester, from Perry's place in Colchester to the closest corner of Mono Pond is less than 6 miles, and they had no idea. So I'm like, yeah, really got to straighten. So after I went to one of their monthly meetings, they invited me to go to their annual meeting and give a little presentation as a part of that, where they have a lot larger audience. So hopefully Colchester, Lebanon, and Hebron are now going to slowly become more involved with us.
You know, you often mentioned Colchester, it's land trust.
Yes, Colchester Land Trust.
You know, if you drive, if you go through Hebron on 66 and then you turn left on Burroughs Hill Road, and you go down and you go through, I think it's Colchester, Westchester, or Winchester, Westchester. There is a 16. Yeah, there is, before you get to, there is a glorious old mill site right there, right in the center of Westchester. That's supposed to be a park. It's had a sign up there for years.
Well, they tore it down,
Yeah,
but there's still retaining brick walls there.
Damn it,
but there's anything.
we just did a survey there. So
Oh, really?
I was involved in market version, but
Oh, but I
What
mean,
they
it would be a beautiful little park.
I'm not sure you know, but I'm assuming that's, they got
Well,
no way of doing some, they had a survey done.
so Colchester Land Trust is similar to Joshua's Trust, but just in Colchester. But a number of people that are on that are also participants in the Colchester town government, either in their open space or conservation, so there's that overlap. But they've protected almost 1,000 acres now in Colchester. They've only been in existence 20 years.
It's a bigger town too.
Yeah, and a much larger tax base. So. We're doing good, you know, because we're a little tiny town with no business and no tax base. Okay.
More than, I know you would think.
We back in here, and so we had no open space. Suspect Park, that was it, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. So,
The town beach.
Town Beach, well, the town beach was limited. I moved here, and it's just, the Murphy house was still the Murphy house. She still lived it.
Yeah, well, yeah, in the late '70s, yes.
And the beach was
Horrible. The, literally, the access for the boat launch, which was paved, went right through the center of the beach. And people could come in with their boats, their fishing boats, any time of the day, and children would be on the beach, and they get back right down into the water. And you will still find little pieces of asphalt around the beach from that ramp that went right into the water. That's what we moved into, a long way. Yeah. I have a little something about friends that I like to bring up. And it's not to beat on you, but in your agenda for the meeting to follow this, you had one of your points was maybe contacting landowners. And I don't think that that's now there's an entire committee here that can, group here that can talk to this point, but I don't think that's a thing for the Friends to do. I think we're in a really, really touchy situation. Both with the Trust for Public Land and how we approach the other landowners. And I don't think a third party should be in it, but that's my opinion.
That's something too, if Joshua's Trust wanted to reach out to landowners rather than Friends of Mount Pond, would that be more palatable?
I guess because they're an independent, I mean, like.
they had no control over it anyway.
Right, we don't, I mean, they could go in and say, we want to buy in for Joshua's Trust, I mean, we couldn't stop that. I mean,
Are you talking about the rest of the land in Mount Pond?
No.
well, you mentioned Silver, you mentioned.
This might be better,
I agree.
this might be a better discussion for the Friends of Mount Pond rather than the Open Space Committee.
Well, except that this is what we do. You know, we negotiate, I mean, we actually go out and identify open space. I mean, that's what open space is.
John, if you let, for instance, one of the landowners in Wellswoods, in the aisle 7 of the grocery store, any one of you please start a conversation. But then it should come here, actually, to Mark. Okay, if they say, sure, well, please, you know, but we, the peons, are not allowed to negotiate. So then we would certainly report that interest to the town administrator. And he would then bring it to TPL. Because we have no budget, we have no power, we are not a commission, we are advisory. However, we do a lot of the groundswell work. But we cannot negotiate.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, that's important to know. We should all be feeling out people for open space they're interested in, because that's what we do. But to say, let me make an offer on your property. Currently, we're offering $2,000. No, you can't do that. Because that's overstepping our charge. And same thing for friends, you know. But if you find somebody who expresses an interest, certainly we'll do a little follow-up. But only through you. Is that agreeable? Yeah.
But you say more of a natural thing, not solicited.
Well.
I mean, the thing I'd be worried about is everybody goes, everyone starts calling up Mr. Silverstein.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where he said, I'm like, you guys, you're bugging the hell out of me, leave me alone.
Yeah.
It's.
Which is pretty much what he's told on.
And everybody, and all the people left out there are all sensitive. The three big owners out there are not gonna be easy.
Yeah. But you went to see Mr. Lucarelli.
Yes,
Take honor with you.
yes, and that's,
Yes.
that's something I'm not, I would almost go in the executive session with, but I'm not real
Yeah.
happy with the results here.
Not that, we. So. Okay, everybody good with that? Is that correct, Mark?
It's fun.
Okay. Because, you know, we're members of the community. And we see people and talk to them. But we can't make offers, we can't negotiate, but we can refer them to people who can. Okay. Tom, could you tell us about the boardwalk on the disc golf?
So up at Rec Park,
Thanks.
where the new concession stand building, whatever it is, just beyond that is where the old yellow trail heads out into the woods there and joins the Joshua's Trust property. And since when they created the disc golf course, they were trying to do the least amount of damage to the property up there, so they were gonna reuse the yellow trail as their access point. Well, the yellow trail in that area is wet quite a bit of the year. And the town was looking for potential of putting in some sort of a bog bridge, boardwalk. We were looking at it as possibly being a Boy Scout project. And so I got involved with it and measured it out and came up with it's about a 200-foot long area. And I believe at this point, we've gotten approval for materials for it. And we're gonna move forward with building the bog bridge.
You're focusing on volunteers from disc golf.
That's the first place I was gonna look was,
Of course, the hikers have been through that area for 40 years. And, but the disc golf players, they didn't want to get their tootsies wet, so now we're gonna have a bog bridge.
Where are the materials, is it like store-bought materials that we budgeted for? Has anybody thought about partnering with local mill or something, just having stuff milled up cheaper?
the problem is with anything that's not pressure treated, it's just gonna deteriorate in a hurry, so. Basically, Joshua's Trust, their standard is using pressure treated 6x6, 2x12s.
We developed a formula, because Joshua's Trust has boardwalks all over eastern Connecticut, and we have to keep track of them, their life expected lifespan, So we can replace them in a staggered manner. So, if it's not pressure treated lumber that we use, you only get at most 5 years. If it's pressure treated and it's in mud, you'll get 15, and if it's above the mud, you can get 25. That's all.
So just kind of a little background, I got involved because historically, when it's state or town land, it's Conservation and Ag Commission that's responsible for trails in some way. And so that was, since I'm on the Conservation and Ag, that was how I was brought into it.
Okay, anybody have any more business? Anybody out there? Okay. And we do not need an executive session. No, okay,
9:46.
9:46. Thank you all for coming.
Motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
So Ian moved and Justin seconded. Chris.
And I think we're all in favor.
Bye, good.